While I was browsing awards and looking for inspiration, I came across a website called goodfella.com. The site itself was beautifully designed, but what really caught my attention was the navigation menu. It was subtle, interactive, and felt thoughtfully crafted, not flashy, but very intentional. Instead of just admiring it, I decided to recreate the similar experience from scratch. And this is what I achieved by using Next.js and GSAP. If you enjoy this kind of breakdown, where I walk you through the entire process, from structure to animation, consider subscribing to the channel. It really motivates me a lot. So, without wasting any more time, let's get started. Our layout.js is very simple. I have only imported a font called Intertight and that's all. Inside page.js, we will create a basic layout for now, since our main focus is the navbar. Here I am creating a full-size section with flex layout to keep the content centered within the section. Inside it, I am using an H1 with font size of 6VW and white color. I am also reducing the letter spacing and line height for better readability. And that's all for our page. Now let's create the navbar. I have already created a component called nav.jsx, so let's import it into layout.js. Now we are all set. Let's build the navigation layout and then we will jump into the animation. Inside the fragment, I have added a nav element, positioned fixed at the top center. It has width of 95VW, a dark zinc background, a subtle border, rounded corners, and flexbox to align and distribute the items properly. Inside it, I am using a p tag with white text, a font size of 1.3VW, and medium font weight for the logo text. Next, I am creating another div. This div is using flexbox to align the items properly, add spacing between them, and it will hold the menu text along with the hamburger icon. For the menu text, I am using the p tag with the font size of 1.3VW. For the icon, I am first creating a relative div and inside it I am using two span elements positioned absolutely and form the hamburger lines. Each span has a fixed width, small height and a white background with slight vertical translation to separate the lines. Alright, the first part of the menu is done. Let's build the next part. First I am creating a div that's fixed just below the navbar, centered horizontally. It has a width of 90VW, a dark background, a subtle border, rounded corners and hidden overflow. I am also using a clipart style to keep it fully hidden. For now, I am commenting this out, otherwise you won't be able to see the structure. After that, I am creating another div that takes up 25% of the width and uses a flex column layout with a small gap between items. It also has a right border and position relative so we can place items inside it. Inside the container, I am adding an absolutely positioned orange box. It is placed at the top left, kept hidden initially with zero opacity and shifted slightly left using a transform. Now for the navigation links, I am creating an array and mapping over it. For each item, I render a wrapper div and use a next link instead of a normal anchor tag. Each link has a large font size, medium font weight and a smooth color transition, changing from white to orange on hover. I forgot to include the href, so let's add it now. After fixing that, we can clearly see our nav links. Next, I am creating another div that takes up 25% of the width and uses a flex column layout with spacing between items. It has horizontal padding, slightly muted white text and a smaller font size. From here, I am fast forwarding the video a bit cause I am just adding some dummy data to fill the navbar. After adding the dummy data, our navbar looks like this. Now comes the final part of the layout. Here I am creating a container that takes up 50% of the width and uses flexbox with some horizontal spacing. Inside it I am adding a flex column layout that includes a small uppercase label and a image section. The image is wrapped inside the container with rounded corners and overflow hidden, and it is set to cover the entire space properly. I am copy pasting the label and the image section one more time with different data, and this time I am also adding the orange border to the image. And finally our layout is completely done. It is time to create the animation for it. Now I am uncommenting the clip path, converting this into client component and importing all the necessary things for our animation. First I am creating a state called isOpen to control whether the menu is open or closed. And I am also grabbing the current route using usePathName. Next I am grouping all my useRef hooks inside a single refs object. These refs will be used to target different parts of the navbar and menu when we start animating them. Next, I attach the refs to the respective elements and toggle the text between menu and close depending to whether the menu is open. After that, I continue attaching refs to the remaining elements, whatever they are needed. For the navigation links, I also add a conditional class, so the active links change color based on the current route. If the pathname match the link's href, it turns orange, otherwise it stays white, and change to orange on hover. After adding all refs, I calculate the active index by finding which navigation links match the current pathname. Next, I am creating a use effect, and inside it I initialize two arrays, one for split text and another one is for lines. Then I collect all the elements that need text animation, including the navigation links and the paragraph elements inside the contact info section. This way we can process and animate all of them together. After that, I loop over each element in split elements and split the text into lines using split text. I store each split instance so we can clean it up later. For every line, I initially move it down by 100% using GSAP so the text start hidden and ready to animate upward. Then I store all the split instance and lines inside refs so they can be reused during the animation. In the cleanup function, I kill any existing timeline and revert all the text splits to avoid memory leaks and duplicate animations. Next, I am creating a function called animateToLink. Inside it, at first I grab the indicator and the links container using refs, and if either of them is not available, I simply return early to avoid errors. Then I check if the index is valid and if the corresponding link row exists. If it does, I calculate the position of the indicator by comparing the link row's position with the container. This gives me the exact Y offset needed to vertically center the indicator on the active link. After calculating the target position, I rotate the indicator by 180° on each iteration and animate it to new position using GSAP. The indicator slides into place, fades in and uses a backout easing to give it a slightly bouncy polished feel. Any previous animation is overwritten to keep everything smooth. If the index is not valid, I simply animate the indicator back to left, fade it out and hide it smoothly using GSAP. This keeps the indicator out of view when no link is active. After that, I loop through all the link rows and animate each link horizontally. The active links shift slightly to the right, while the rest stay in their original position. This adds a subtle focus effect and make the active link feel more dynamic. After that, I set up another use effect that listens to isOpen and the active link index, so the animations stay in sync. Next, I first kill any existing timeline to prevent overlapping animation. Then I create a new GSAP timeline and store it in a ref so we can control it across renders. If the menu is open, I first reset everything instantly before starting the animation. The indicator is moved off to the left and hidden, and all the links are reset back to their original position. This ensures the opening animation always starts from a clean state. Then I build the opening animation using GSAP timeline. First, the navbar expands in width, at the same time the hamburger lines rotate to form the close icon. Next, the menu container is revealed by animating the clip path. After that, all the text lines slide up one by one with a slide stagger. And finally, I trigger the indicator animation for the active link. If the menu is closed, I reverse the animation. The close icon transitions back into the hamburger lines, the menu is hidden again using clip path, and the navbar returns to its original width. Finally, all the text line instantly move back down so they are ready for next open animation. Finally, on the menu container, I toggle the menu state using onClick. On the links container, I handle onMouseLift to animate the indicator back to the active link. And on each link row, I use onMouseEnter to move the indicator to the hovered link. I think we made a mistake. We used splits instead of split, so let's fix that. We have one more bug here. To fix it, let's set the link to width to fit. And we have finally built one of the trickiest navigation menus. If this video helped you even a little, let me know in the comments. I will see you in the next one.